to see you, Mafia. Welcome into the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and it's been a while since I've graced you with my presence. So you know what we're going to do? We are going to talk about Bills training camp and everything that's been going on over the past week and a half to 2 weeks. Now, before we do that, our August sub battle has officially started. We're down to the Patriots right now. 43 in the month of August is actually pretty decent. So here is what I need you to do. If you're ready for Bills preseason football, Bills football in general, and you want to kick the you-know-what out of the New England Patriots, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's start off with the first major takeaway, the defensive line looking fierce. And when I came on this channel a couple of months ago, we were talking about how the Bills needed to address the defensive line to bolster their run defense. Well, they certainly did that. They attacked that not only in free agency, but also in the draft as well. And it is clearly showing during Bills training camp. Here's what Sports Illustrated had to say when they were out there taking notes. Being without veteran linebackers Dorian Williams and Shaq Thompson could have been the recipe for disaster, but the return of Terrell Bernard and play from defensive lines made sure to slow down the Bills' rushing attack consistently on the day. This may have taken place on a day where James Cook was out of practice. More on him just a little bit later. It was encouraging to see, though, after Buffalo tied for 18th in the NFL in yards allowed per carry last season. So even Sports Illustrated notes that the Bills' defensive line and the rushing attack, or at least on the defensive side of the ball, was a major woe. Now, here's what I will note. This Bills' defensive line depth chart looks really formidable. And it is also what I like to call the epicenter of the Bills' defense. This is going to be the foundational piece for the Buffalo Bills going forward in 2025 on defense. Offensively, it's Josh Allen's team. We're just a part of it. But the defensive line now has the opportunity to solidify itself as a top 10 unit in the NFL. And if that is the case, mark my words, the Buffalo Bills are making a Super Bowl. Now, how do they package this differently than they did last year? Because you can't just throw out the same guys and hope a few new additions are going to make or break the Bills' defensive line. How about something like this, what the Eagles do really well? It's called a 6-1 defensive front. It's basically 6 defensive linemen, down linemen, and then 1 spy middle linebacker roaming the field. This primarily will be the focus on how you decide to stop teams with heavy rushing attacks. So when you go up against really good running backs, like Breece Hall, like everybody says, Patriots running back. No, other one, new one. Travion Henderson, that's the name. Thank you. I appreciate it. When you go up against strong running backs, or at least what they're predicted to be, you want to make sure that your defensive line has a plan to stop that and force opposing quarterbacks to beat you. That's how you're going to win in 2025. Don't get beat on the ground and give up cheap yardage. Make the quarterback do the heavy lifting. You can do that. You'll win more games in 2025 than you did in 2024, which is a crazy statement, and you will push your way to a Lombardi trophy. So let me ask you this. What say you? The Bills will have a top blank run defense in 2025. I'm going to say top 12 right now, but hopefully that cracks top 10. Either way, you let me know in the comment section down below. Speaking of running backs, James Cook holding in. I know this isn't necessarily something that you want to hear, but it is something that's going on at Bills practice. So he did show up. He didn't want to incur any fines. The old Marshawn Lynch adage. I'm just here so I don't get fined. But he is holding in, not participating in team drills. In fact, Sports Illustrated, once again, said this. The Buffalo Bills running back showed up at St. John Fisher University in full team gear, but didn't take a single rep during practice. It marked his first absence from mandatory on-field work this offseason, and though he made himself available to reporters, he was about as talkative as a locked vault. I like that. That's pretty cool. Speaking of those answers, the very laconic ones at that, Cook just claimed the reason he was sitting out was all about business. Why are you sitting out, James? It's business. Are there any updates about what's going on? Well, I can tell you we're talking business. Business, business, business. It's all just business. So clearly, and I don't need to say this more than once, he's talking about his contract. And listen, I get it from both sides. Not to play Switzerland here, but I understand the Bills front office is hesitant to give him what he wants, but I also understand where James Cook is coming from. Why? He's coming off the best season of his entire career. Maybe not yardage-wise, but he found the end zone a total of 18 times. That's nuts. That's over one a game. So clearly he finds the value in his play. And I'm sure the Bills also find the value in his play, but maybe not for what he's asking for. But with that being said, we got an old-fashioned standoff, partner. The old high noon standoff. Who's going to cave first? That's the question. It's going to be the Bills front office. Are they going to give him what his asking price is? Or are we going to see James Cook acquiesce before he gets his payment? And speaking of his payment, let's take a look at the highest paid running backs per year. He wants top 5 money. Scratch that. He wants top 3 money. He wants $15 million a year. He ain't going to get it. In fact, where I would have him right now is tied for 6th behind Josh Jacobs. That $12 million per year mark. I think that's probably what you're looking at. But he clearly sees himself as a better running back than Josh Jacobs. Slightly behind Alvin Kamara. So yeah, he wants $15 million per year. He's let that be known on his Instagram. He's let that known on social media. He's made that known to reporters. Everybody who's anybody knows what James Cook wants. It's just going to be a matter of who plays chicken first, who bites. And I personally think it's going to be James Cook. I don't think the Bills want to pay him 15. I think he might settle on 12 and a half, maybe 13 at the most. Either way, I'm not here to speculate on exactly what he's going to get, just to let you know he's not participating. Third, this is the bad news. The injuries are piling up. Now I know what you're thinking. It's just training camp. A lot of this is precautionary. A lot of these guys are going to come back, and you're absolutely right. However, it should be noted that 12 players on this Bills team did not participate in yesterday's practice, which at the time of this recording was Sunday. 12 players. That's a lot. I mean, that's an entire unit. So let's just go through the injuries right now. Khalil Shakir, Alec Anderson, Cedric Van Pran Granger, Cole Bishop, Max Harrison, Dorian Williams, Curtis Samuel, Caden Prather, Shaq Thompson, Tyler Bass, Taylor Rapp, and also James Cook, but that's not an injury. So 11 injuries, 1 hold-in. And again, it's preseason, but it is still concerning. The one thing you have to start asking yourself are, how much of these are just chance and how much of it is poor conditioning? How much of it is load management? We don't necessarily know. All we know is what Sean McDermott is willing to tell reporters, and that's not much. All of the older head coaches are kind of zipped-lipped during training camp. They don't want to divulge any information. They'll give short, concise answers, and then they'll move on. So it is concerning, not the end of the world, and I think a lot of these guys will be healthy come week 1, but it should be noted, 12 players not practicing at the time of this recording in yesterday's practice. Speaking of Bills football and actual football games, this Friday to be exact, we got a game against the New York Giants. So here's what I need you to do. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And if you're going to join us for our very first preseason game, type me in the comment section down below. I want to see where the real ones are at. I want to see the real fans show up for the Buffalo Bills this Friday night. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. Final takeaway. Keon Coleman is standing out for both good and bad reasons. And it started bad and got way better. So let's talk about what happened in the most recent practices. The most recent practice, Coleman dropped 2 early passes, easy ones at that, as all indicators reported. And then he made a contested catch on Christian Benford. And you're like, okay, that's a little bit better. And then he made 2 more catches over Dane Jackson. So you're looking at this and you go, he's starting to heat up a little bit. I like to see it. I like to see it a lot. And this is where I feel like the difference between year 1 Keon Coleman and year 2 Keon Coleman is fully coming into display. Here's what he said about this practice. He quoted by saying, "You don't move on from the drops," Coleman said after practice. "That shit's still pissing me off. But it's just, you got to make up for it the next play. Your mental toughness has to be better than, what you had last year. You got to go on. But I keep it in the back of my head. I got anger problems when it comes to that. So you don't just drop it. That's the only thing you can get over. You got to keep going. Now, the Bills' wide receiver depth chart could clearly see Keon Coleman slide into that wide receiver 2 position. In fact, I think a lot of Bills fans thought when he got drafted, this was your next wide receiver 1. Rookie season didn't turn out that way. He was too slow, didn't make nearly enough plays as he should have. But he's a rookie. It's growing pains. I get it. It happens. This is the year now. You've got a full season under your belt. It's time to start making more plays. It's time to get out there, rely on your hands, rely on your playmaking ability, and do what you do well. Establish your connection with Josh Allen. When you can do that, you will not only be viewed highly more by this front office, but by this fan base, which is exactly what you need to see from Keon Coleman heading into year 2. So will he have a breakout season in 2025? Pardon me. I was trying to hold in that burp as long as I could. Yes or no? I think he does. I think you should temper your expectations, though. I'm not saying he's going to go out and have a 1,000-yard season, but 700 yards, 750 yards, yeah, it could absolutely happen, and it should happen. That is going to do it for us on today's Bills Breakdown episode. A reminder to like the video if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and as always, Bills Mafia, be cool.